Guides and rulers are two very helpful mechanisms that can be used within a Flash document. In this lesson, we'll see how to take advantage of these features. So here we have a basic Flash document open up, and there's nothing on the stage right now. It hasn't really had anything done to it. It's for all intents and purposes a blank document. One thing that I like to do when I first create a new document is to set up my guides and my rulers. So to do this, we can go to the View menu, and we can turn our rulers on by just clicking this little rulers command right here. And we can see that this has both a vertical and horizontal ruler. The way the Flash stage works, we have both the x-axis, which goes from left to right, and the y-axis, which goes from top to bottom. So we have a ruler for each of these. And the upper left-hand corner, this little point right here at the top left, is 0.00. So that's 0x and 0y. And anything to the right and below is going to increase in number. Anything above this and to the left is going to decrease in number. Rulers by default are based in pixels. This can be changed, however. You'll want to go to Modify, Document, and from here, you're able to select ruler units. So by default, again, is pixels, but you can also choose inches, decimal inches, points, centimeters, or millimeters. So I would recommend that you always keep it at pixels unless you are specifically targeting print, because pixels are the units of measurement that are used on any sort of a digital screen. To create guides, we simply click upon the ruler, and we can see that two things happen here. One is that our cursor changes to show a little arrow with a line, and that's indicating that we are in the process of creating a guide. The second thing that happens is we've got this little black line, and when we move it down over the stage, we can see that it could potentially change color a bit so that we can see what's going on. This is sort of like the ghost of the actual guide that we're laying out. So perhaps I want to lay this guide out at 50 pixels down. So I can drag and release. And we can see now that I've done that, it's no longer black and white, it's now this sort of teal color. And we can do the same thing from the side ruler. So bring out a guide along the y-axis at 50 pixels. So you see right there what happened is I released it and it didn't snap to 50 pixels. Let's zoom in a bit, and I'm holding the spacebar down so I can toggle my hand tool. And what we can do here is go in, use the selection tool to grab that little guide and position him over the 50 pixel mark. So these can be adjusted as needed. It's also possible to adjust these by typing in a number. What you would do is double click on any of these guides, and then we can set the position. So say perhaps I wanted it to be 25. Easy enough. There we go. And if I zoom in here and look, it is precisely at 25. You'll notice also that when you're zoomed in at 800% or more, you can actually see individual pixels. So let's zoom back out to 100% and go back up to the View menu, because there are also a number of options that pertain to guides here. For instance, we can lock our guides, and when we do that, we won't be able to actually move them until we unlock them. Although we can create new guides while guides are locked. We can clear all of our guides or edit guides. So let's go into edit guides first. Here we have a number of different options. We can choose the color that we want guides to appear in. We can choose whether to show our guides or not, whether to snap to guides, and again, here is lock guides. We can choose our snap accuracy, so this ranges from must be close to normal to can be distant. And we can also clear them all from here. If we go back up to the View menu and go to Guides, we can also toggle guides off and on by using this little piece right here. Related to guides, we also can change our grid settings, so we can show our grid and edit our grid. Let's go into Edit. So if we toggle Show from here, we can see the grid, and by default, it's going to be 10 by 10 pixel layout of our grid. We also have snap accuracy here. That's very much like the guides, except we also have this always snap property, in which case objects will always snap to the grid. So if you need to be very specific about being on a grid, this is a great option because it doesn't leave much room for error at all. And of course, we have to have snap to grid activated in order for that to actually work. We can also access, under the View menu, our snapping options here, where we can toggle on and off, snap to grid, snap to guides, and even snap to pixels, objects, and snap align. And there's also an edit snapping dialog that we can bring up right here as well. So this has been a lesson on guides and rulers within Flash Professional CS6.